The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, and be no rerun, brothers and sisters. The revolution will be live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is a special edition of Suplex Dinner Club that I will appropriately call Pod Season. It's where I invite some of my homies, some of my friends, and we congregate, we bounce some ideas off of each other, and basically we're here to pod. So I got a great panel for y'all. We have a wonderful topic, and the topic tonight is the state of black in pro wrestling. So I brought some of my close friends. I'm going to introduce each of them so y'all know them. Look them up on their socials and be sure to follow them because links will be provided in the description down below. So first, I'm going to introduce 1/4 of the All Marks Pod. He represents Heroes After Dark, which is a growing YouTube community focused on comic book and comic book collecting. You may know him as the Big Black Supernova. He's the homie Brad. What's happening, brother?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on.
For sure. All right, next. This is a busy lady there in the podcast / media world. She is one half of Your Favorite Marks podcast. She is a contributor on Oversaturated the podcast, and she also writes for Fansided. So be sure to bow down when you see her. What's up, Brittnee? How you feeling?
What's going on, Brittnee? Miss I Was There, nickname from you.
Oh yeah. Miss I Was There.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, welcome. Next, this is a first time Suplex Dinner Club guest. He's one of the homies here in the city of Atlanta that we all love. He represents the Nation of African American Wrestling. Facebook group is blowing up, is popping. He's a great fan. He's a great guy to talk to. He's the homie. He made some time for us. What's going on, Jabari? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And last but certainly not least, he's 1/4 of the mighty All Marks crew and also one half of the Get Your Bars Off network and also one half of Four Corner Cinema with Arri and Adrian. He is brother Arri Starks. Welcome to the party, sir.
Yes. What's good, man? Peace to everybody in here, man. Yo, I'm ready to, get into this joint, man. It's about to be a good show. Yo, shout out to everybody and what they're doing, man. I love the Nation. I be in there, just ciphering through what's new and the info in there. I just love the energy in there, bro. I just want to commend you for what you're doing with that group and its growth also. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to be here. I feel like I'm starstruck right now, but I'm right, man. I really do commend the work that you put in and boots to the ground as you well too, Brittnee. Like, yo, boots to the ground type shit, man. That's all what we try to do is make sure that we seeing what we want in the culture and being there, attentive to, be up on that pulse of the culture also,
Definitely.
So we out here.
We out here, man.
Yes, sir.
We outside. And shout out to my brother Lothar who couldn't be here also, shout out to my man. So.
Yes, sir. Get better soon, my brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. And also I failed to mention Jabari. He represents Grap City podcast. So shout out to Uncle Uno as well as brother Josh. So shout out to those guys. Spicy Josh, my guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So look, I got some music to inspire y'all. So relax, listeners, sit back, enjoy your finest cocktail. I myself have some High Life, which is a delicious beer if you haven't had it.
The
Tampa, Florida.
Etiquette drinks.
There we go. Hey, we're on point. I got some music. Let's enjoy the vibes and get inspired because today, once again, today's topic is the state of black in pro wrestling. Enjoy.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm.
Yeah.
All right.
Stop playing.
Hey, I had to liven us up. I had to make sure we all knew what time it was tonight.
Okay.
I swear,
What we
walking on my porch, I was like, yo, if he plays a song, I feel it's going to be this. Like, I would have did the same thing. So I'm glad that we are all linked right now, yo.
Yeah, well, this is the energy we're on tonight. So if you're a first-time guest of Suplex Dinner Club, shout out to you. Thank you for giving us a listen. This is all fun. We're going to probably talk about some things that may be triggering to some. It may be annoying to some, but guess what? It's Suplex Dinner Club, and I host Suplex Dinner Club, so I can get my shit off. So it is what it is. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But like, comment, subscribe, of course. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at Suplex Dinner Club. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. We talk about all things college football. The Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. If you're into TV and movie reviews, check out Four Corners Cinema with Arri and Adrian, a podcast where two lifelong pro wrestling fans review film and other forms of media that just so happen to have some of our favorite pro wrestlers. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it. All right, let's go ahead and start off with some positivity. And let's give some flowers because we're going to basically review 2023. We're going to give some flowers to some of those high performers in professional wrestling. I'm going to start off with you, Arri. What performer stood out and like showed up and showed out in 2023 for you?
I'll get the elephant out the room, man. Like Swerve Strickland, dude. When you talk about somebody who we've seen in so many great spaces, mixed with so many great wrestlers for years, you know what I'm saying? The work he's put in Lucha Underground, the work he's put in on the Indies, what he's done in NXT, and to see where he's at now in AEW, it's all deserving and it's all experience gathered through everywhere he's been to see this great overall competitor that he is today. So to see that, and as a fan, just like I said, each chapter, and to see he's at that spot where I'm ready to be king now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so for it, bro. Because like I said, to see that growth, chef's kiss, man. That's what we talk about development all the time in wrestling, and this is one of your best examples of it in modern day. So definitely. I mean, I got to go with my man Swerve. Long overdue, man. Long overdue.
Heck yeah, and we're definitely cheering for him because he's definitely due for a huge 2024. I love that answer. Jabari, you're next, man. Who stood up? Who's showed up and showed out in pro wrestling?
For me, it would be Chris Bay. Chris Bay held down Impact a whole lot. He went from X Division star, and then when that really wasn't working out for him, in his storyline, of course, he went over to the tag team division. And went to the tag team division, of course, being the first black dude in the Bullet Club. So he was X Division, he was nice. Bullet Club, and now he's a 2-time tag team champion. He just held it down all the way around for Impact. So Chris Bay, and also I give a special shout out to Moose too, because Moose is just always there wrecking shop. He had a very good beginning.
Moose has won me over lately.
Right, he had a very good beginning to the 2023. He hasn't been doing as much now, but he's still around.
Yeah, for sure.
Him calling Matt Cardona Mid Cardona was probably the best thing I've seen.
lit.
Yo, he bodied that man. I can only call him that now. Like, Mid Cardona. Like,
Between him and Joe Hendry calling out Cardona, it's been and Alex Kane too. All three of them calling out Cardona, it's just been hilarious.
Everyone's been taking their turns on my guy. They've been taking their turns on him. Oh, so yeah. All right, Brittnee, what's your answer?
Okay, so mine is actually called Black Women Thriving. So there were 3 women, maybe 4. I'm gonna do 4. There were 4 women that literally changed the game in 2023. So I'm gonna start off with Athena. What she's doing, top of the card, fantastic work. I'm a huge fan of hers. I'm gonna go give it to Trisha Dora. What she's also doing, what she has done in 2023, like these women, and we're going outside WWE, like they're literally making their mark on this pro wrestling industry, and it's inspiring. So I'm gonna go with them too, and I'm also gonna go with Trinity and Mercedes. And the reason I'm choosing them is because I support Black women stepping out, making their own moves. They literally wrote their own blueprint and did what they needed to do, left the company, and look at where they are now. Of course, with Mercedes, she's still the talk, and she hasn't wrestled in a few months. Like, what kind of stuff is that? So I support any woman, especially a Black woman, going against the narrative and creating their own path. So those 4 women definitely changed the game in 2023. Honorable mention, I'm gonna go Willow, because that's another one that a lot of people don't talk about. So kudos to them.
Yes. I definitely want to double down on that Trisha Dora one too, and also Willow, but Trisha Dora for sure. Because the work that she's been doing in ROH with the infantry, and then on her solo work, you know what I'm saying? And then to see now she's got the spot over in New Japan, like the ceiling is just getting higher and higher for her, man. So really shout out to her. And shout out Queen Amita too, man, who every time I see her just looks like a star and always putting in that work in the ring, man.
Nice.
Going back to Trisha Dora, she is the longest span African world diaspora champion.
Right.
She held that belt for at least 2.5, 3 years now.
That's how I knew about it, because of her.
And she is now a world recognized champion because of that.
Yep.
She is a world recognized champion.
That's actually how I got hip to her and her work, is hearing that how long she had that title. So yeah.
That's dope. I mean, that's
awesome.
How
you make a title, man. Like that's how you make titles, man. Great wrestlers putting in that work with it.
Hell yeah. Brad, man, we got slim pickings, or do we not? Who's your pick, bro?
We gotta talk about Trick Willie. He had an amazing 2024. He went from roadie manager to bona fide superstar. Now he's on his way. Future looks very, very bright for him. He's over with the NXT crowd, and not only the NXT crowd within the Performance Center, but he's just over with a larger audience. They took him to the arena, and he was over. Everybody was thrilled to see him pick up a major victory. So you got to go to with Trick Williams. He really, really thrived and developed under that NXT system, and he got his weight up, man. He got his weight up big time. So that's
a good choice, man. That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
That's
good
a real
choice.
Good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, my pick. I'm glad no one said this. My guy Alex Kane, man, representing, holding it down. MLW. Boomaye is for the people. Y'all already know what time it is. My man has white people wearing Boomaye shit. He's there. I just finished watching an MLW show, and there was a white guy wearing a Boomaye shirt, a Boomaye sweatshirt, and them chanting Boomaye. And that's one of the most funniest, but dope situations in professional wrestling. He definitely held it down. Definitely should be considered one of those underrated MVPs of professional wrestling for 2023. So shout out to all of those performers. I love that all of us brought different people, different styles, different flavors. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Let's show some love to the South too, man. Brian Keith, Bounty Hunter, man. That dude
Oh
is
yeah.
the
Okay.
talk of
Okay.
the indies, man. Like, I mean, he's doing his thing over at AEW, getting in where he could fit in, but hey, is going from not being seen on TV and just the word of mouth. Now people can put name to face now and see what you can do. So shout out to him, man. Hopefully his 2024 keeps rising.
Definitely, definitely. Listeners, let us know down below what black performer stood out, showed out for 2023. Let us know down below. All right, next, moving on. Let's go ahead and move forward into 2024. Who is ready, set, and primed to show out on 2024? I'm gonna start with you, Brad.
Well, I talked about him last week on the House of Kayfabe, and what do you know? He won the NXT North American title just last night.
That's a fact.
Oba is a
Strap the
beast.
rocket.
He is a beast. Do you hear me? He is everything that as a black wrestling fan I want to see. He don't have to have no over the top drawn out yo homie, he ain't got to do none of that. He's a straight beast, straight power, great physique, great look. He's the champ, man.
Character. He's like a Tekken character, bro.
Pretty much.
Yo, like he's a beast.
There, bro. The necklace, like, yo.
Salute to
He's
him, man.
awesome.
Shout out to him, man. I thought he was gonna have a hot year as the year progressed. I didn't know they were gonna go ahead and take off with him. So salute, man.
Yeah, man. That dude looks awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Who do you have? Who's gonna show out for 2024?
I've seen this dude consistently have great years over in the UK, and that's Michael Oku. I'm waiting for if I feel like hopefully I said his name correct. I'm waiting for that dude to just hit that next. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm waiting for them to take him out of Will Ospreay's shadow and let him
Facts.
really be the star that he is,
Facts.
and really the best person that you have to represent the UK right now. Like, Will Ospreay is gone, y'all. This is your next dude. The crown is Will Ospreay's passed the torch from almost like 2-3 times. I don't know how many times he got to pass the torch to him, but I think it's time that he either shows that, all right, I'm here, but now let me go take my talents over New Japan. Let me come over to TNA. Let me come over to AEW, wherever, NXT, wherever. I think this dude is going to excel. I really think he'll excel at NXT for real. But I think it's time for him to really take his talents and challenge yourself. Challenge yourself on that next go. You know what I'm saying? Let's get out of UK. We know you're the best in there. And we've seen other guys that left the UK and become great. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Gabriel Kidd. I think he's from the UK. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel Kidd, who, you know what I'm saying, is WCPW days and is making work in New Japan right now. You know, one of my favorite guys in Bullet Club. But I think Michael Oku needs to take that next step up and challenge himself outside of the UK. And I think he's going to make a lot of new fans, man. A lot of new fans.
I like that. That's a hell of an answer, man. That's a hell of an answer.
Yes.
Brittnee, what's your pick?
Okay, so I had plan B and C written down just in case somebody took my pick, and Over was my pick. So I'm glad I had other options written down. So I'm taking it to NXT, and I'm giving it to Kalani James. She has the skill, she has the talent, she has the confidence, and I definitely think with more time in the ring, she's definitely one to look at this year for sure.
I like that. Brad, you've seen her live, right?
Yeah.
Being in Orlando. Okay.
And I got one entry. I have a curveball. This is not a person. This is not a group. This is a company, and that's I Say Wrestling.
Okay. Tell me more about them.
So this is Jabari, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Darius, right?
Yeah, Darius Lockhart.
Lockhart, yeah. So this is the company he launched. They just had a show, I think December 2nd. And the response to that was literally like astonishing. You was there? So you get it.
Yeah.
And they just announced the next show. And just what I've seen with that show and how they're building around this company, they're definitely the company to look at as far as independent wrestling. And it's for the people, it's for us, created by us. That's somebody to look at this year for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out. This is my first time hearing about them.
Game, Britt.
Yeah,
you said for us bias, you know, gave somebody I don't hope. I mean, you're gonna have FUBU wrestling coming up next week. FUBU Pro Wrestling, bro. For us bias, don't let it go to Shark Tank.
Okay.
Nah, that's dope. Shout out to Ashe Wrestling, man. That
Nice.
man, I can't wait. Do they do their shows mainly in the South? Do they travel?
I think it's based North Carolina, right?
It's based in North Carolina. It's based in Charlotte right now. Their first show was at the Grady Cole Center, and I think they're just going to go around Charlotte right now. I don't think they're any. Well, they just had their first show, so I don't know what their plans are right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they just had their first show in December. Next show will be in February, so we'll see from there.
Nice. You plan on going? You plan on making the
Not
drive?
the second one. I can't make it. I can't make the second one. Yeah, made the first one. Can't make the second one.
Got you. Okay. We still show support, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah, I'm still to buy a ticket though.
Oh, okay. My
pick is going to be Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor has been on the bubble. Right, he's been on the bubble for a very long time. Every time he's right there, something just stops him from just going over. And I just believe that 2024 is just going to be like the year that he just breaks out all the way. Shane Taylor Promotions, he's just going to get everything together. And he's going to go from Ring of Honor to AEW. And I have a feeling that he's going to bring Keith Lee with him whenever Keith Lee gets healthy again.
Yeah.
But I just have this feeling that Shane Taylor is going to wreck shop in AEW in 2024.
I feel that. Shout out to Shane Taylor. He and Jay Briscoe long ago came to my sports bar during the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. And they were in Atlanta. I had tickets, unfortunately, and I couldn't go because it was that fight. So I had to sell my tickets, and we had a long-ass line lined outside of the door of my sports bar. It was a popular sports bar there in Metro Atlanta. I'm not going to plug them because the hell with them. But long story short, I see the long line, and I see this weird white guy with a beard, and I see this big black dude, and I recognize both of them, and I say, Jay Briscoe. He looks up. I say, y'all, come on. I tell them, get in front of these people that are in line. I'll go ahead and let them in. No cover charge or anything like that. Bought them a round of drinks. Guys were super cool. They tweeted about the restaurant, and they were awesome guys. I explained to them, I was like, yo, I wish I was at the show. I hope we showed up and showed out there at Center Stage. But work is work, and they understood. They were super cool dudes. So shout out Shane Taylor, man. He's definitely due. Long overdue. My pick, man, I'm going to go ahead and get an easy one since y'all got all the good ones. Jade Cargill is next up, ladies and gentlemen. She looks like $1 million, and right now she's working, she's grinding, and she's on a low simmer. For all my chefs out there, all my cooks out there, we understand what the slow simmer is compared to throwing something in a microwave. We know. We just know. You got Sean in her ear. You got Triple H in her ear. I mean, this you got Natty around. I mean, you just got people around this project. I think she's gonna be. I think things are gonna be up for her this year. I think whether it's her showing up at the Rumble, I don't care. Whether she pulls up on NXT like I want, I don't care. I just know the next time we see Jade Cargill in the ring, she's going to be ready, and she's going to be a star. She's going to be immediately a star. But I'm pulling for her. I know all of the panel is pulling for her because all of us are fans of her. Shout out to her. Shout out to Brandon, one of my homies from Eastside. But we're pulling for you, man. We're pulling for you, Jade. Listeners, let us know down below who is going to show out for 2024. We'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, we start off with the positivity. Let's get into something a little bit more deep, a little bit more controversial, that sort of thing. Again, the topic is the state of black in pro wrestling. One of the events from a couple years back that really sparked these kind of conversations was the employment of Big Swole with All Elite Wrestling. She worked with him at the very beginning, the onset of the company. Didn't really make much noise. I know she was gathering some kind of positive attention from the crowd. You know, the Swole chants were kind of lit, and they tried to capitalize on it. They didn't really go fully in, but I think that was more so a women's division issue versus just solely Big Swole. So I will say that.
Okay.
But long story short, Swole's contract comes up, it runs out, and basically she's not offered a new contract. And the two parties split. Swole pretty much is asked, like, yo, what happened? What's the deal? She pretty much, you know, she gets her venting off. Which she is absolutely empowered to do. You know, if you work for someone, you've worked your contract through, you did the right thing, you have the right to say your pardon words about your company. You're more than welcome to do that. And she offers a little bit of critique for this growing company, this new company. And a number of her concerns. Number one, I would say definitely was the fact that the women's division didn't really have that tender loving care from a creative end. The head of their division at that time was kind of hands off, or more so not really focused and really pushing that talent. Another, which is why I brought all of us together to speak on this, another concern of hers was really the fact she gave the caveat of my child's parents are pro wrestlers, so obviously she's going to be watching the product. When she watches this company, she doesn't see someone that looks like her. And I know a lot of wrestling fans, that triggered a lot of wrestling fans, which is goofy to me, but for the sake of conversation, I thought it was a valid assessment where you say, hey, this kid is watching this product. They don't see someone that looks like them. They don't see someone like them doing great things. I know past listeners of Suplex Dinner Club, All Marks Pod, they've heard these stories about us growing up and our perceptions of black wrestlers in the past, the lesser than perception. So when Swole brings something like that to the table, that kind of makes you think. And you're either on the side of you think about it and you're like, whatever, you're a hater. Or you think about it and like, yo, that's kind of real. Now, it's been a couple years since Swole no longer been with All Elite. I wish the best to her as well, her and Cedric and their family. Shout out to her because she was an awesome person. Met her in Atlanta when she was working independent. Great person. I know, Jabari, you've met her as well. I'm pretty confident.
Yes.
So shout out to them.
Mania too.
Word. Okay. Yeah, she's good people. She's dope. She's a dope person. No question about it. She's dope. But my question that I want to present to you guys after these years, after the initial response, outrage, or whatever you want to call it, after all that is tempered out and we're seeing how things are moving, my question to you, and I'm going to start with you, Arri, do you think Swole was right in her critique?
So when initially the tweets and the debates were starting early around there within my camp and my friends, we were having those debates about representation and all those same things. I would say, I'll be honest, I was on the side of 50-50 really, more so 70-25 on the sense of I felt like we had representation, but the representation we had wasn't meeting the bar of excellence we're used to in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? without race, you know. So when I would bring up a Scorpio Sky and Will Hobbs, so on and so forth, it would be 50-50 with reaction, because either Scorpio Sky is not really meeting his potential. He's great in the ring. He has all the things we want for a champion, but he's just not consistent health wise or storyline wise. What is what it is. So that kind of fell to the wayside. Will Hobbs was on the weaker side. We couldn't really say nothing to represent him, but as time progressed, he got better. The Book of Hobbs storylines was really good. It was things that we can be like, all right, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So are we in a better space when we first started to where we are? I would say a little better, better. Like seeing saying Hobbs being more active, seeing what's going on with Swerve, saying, even with Prince Nana, like it's really good to see. Like, and Brad, you brought it up a lot, where a lot of things from our culture, slang, dances, whatever, come to wrestling very late. But sometimes, it's still good to see, but even though it's late to them, but it's still good to see that it's open, that this can be, brought to wrestling without any type of censoring or, oh, nah, these people won't understand. None of that, man. It's cool to see we actually could be more free with our style and our culture in wrestling more.
I feel that. I like that. Brittnee, what are your thoughts? Do you think Swole was right?
So, first off, I want to say how the response to what she said was out of line. Like, I feel like she was in the right to say what she said. She's in the company, so she's seeing it literally right up front, while we're just on the outside looking in. So the response to that was kind of, I didn't too much care for that. I will say she was right, and because back then, because what year she said that? Was that 2020 or 21?
I want to say it's 21. It seems like it's been 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
And it started late 1920, about 21, yeah.
About 2020.
I'm trying to remember who was champs in all across major companies back then. But if I can compare it now to where she said that, if I can give a grade, I'm gonna say probably a solid B. Because in that time frame, you have like Bianca Belair, who became the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. Of course, with Swerve and AEW, and then you got Athena, and then stuff like that. So I'm going all across the board. So I would say, in general, in pro wrestling, a solid B. AEW, probably, it goes back and forth, because it's sometimes they were up there. You saw the vision. They listening to the audience on Twitter, Instagram. They listening, but then once they listen and they respond, it's like dang, so y'all can shut up. And then like weeks later, it's on somebody else. So it's too hit or miss. So I'd say probably a solid C. If they can be consistent with their black wrestlers on their roster, then we ain't that good. But it's just too hit or miss. And pretty much for like WWE as well, like you have to stop the roller coaster, the up and down. Like, if you're gonna push this black person, push them. Don't push them because of the internet and what's going on the internet. So just be consistent. If you're gonna push us, like it's a slap in the face. Like if you're gonna push us and then turn around and slap us in the face 2 weeks later. So
definitely,
real shit.
Definitely.
Overall,
Swerve shit was low key. It's like all that shit. Then he loses to Danielson. It was like Danielson's my goat.
Yeah.
But I just like, what? Come on, bro. Come on.
Some wave. I mean, it's one of those things. It's one of those things in pro wrestling that you question whether or not the push is actually intentional or the company actually riding a wave.
Right.
Like
which is understandable.
Right.
Yeah, which is absolutely understandable. If the crowd is fully into this person, then yes, you need to prop this person. But at the same point, sometimes it seems disingenuous. That's when you bring those kind of questions.
It still feels like they never found the balance with that.
Correct.
They never find the balance. It's like, hey, this person can be hot. Yes, that thing is true. Also, you can stick to your story. That thing can be true also.
Right.
Where is the balance? Where are the parallels? You can do 2 things at the same time in 2024 now.
Definitely.
You can do 2 things at the same time. I mean, you can have Nana being as positive and being as popular as he is, and still have the balance of Swerve still going for the title. You can have both. You can do both.
This is true. This is
Oh,
true.
and it's another thing too. Like, I do understand pushing black talent, but if they're not getting over, it's okay to push them to the side until they get to a certain point that they're
Yes.
good. Like,
Right.
you don't have to make it look, because if you do that, it's awkward. We
Right.
see it, it's cringy, and
It's
just push them
pandering.
to the right
I mean,
until they get better.
They're gonna immediately call that pandering, which
Yep.
some of it is.
Yeah.
But
And
I
that just
agree
goes
to your
show
point
that
for sure.
nobody is in the back room to tell people that too.
Yeah.
You don't have enough black
There you go.
voices in the back to be
Speak
like,
on it.
hey,
That's it.
this is what works.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
might not be
Which
what
is
works.
something that we're definitely going to talk about.
Yeah, I
This
know I
is
got a little
something
bit
that was
ahead. I
definitely
apologize about
no,
that.
you're no.
I
We're
got a little
pod,
bit ahead.
Now speak
bro.
on it. Speak on it.
Jabari, this pod season. Go for it. You're next. I want to know your thoughts on this. Like, do you think Swole was right, but also continue on your thought?
Okay, Swole was right at the time. She saw back. Okay, let me preface this by saying words do matter. She did mention diverse. She mentioned diversity. She never mentioned necessarily black. So she was kind of correct and kind of not necessarily wrong. You just have to look at the fact of what the word diversity means. Diversity does not always just mean black.
Right.
Now, because of the podcast that we're on, yes, she was right about there being lack of black representation at that time.
Yes.
As far as diversity, they did have a lot. AEW had a very diverse roster. Because you still had Nyla there, you still had Private Party there, you still had Ricky Starks coming up. You had a lot of, you had Pride and Proud, PNP. You had the Lucha Brothers, so you had a lot of diverse people there. But as far as the black representation, no, they didn't really have it at that time. Because like you said, you only had really Scorpio Sky. You only really had Will Hobbs, who just wasn't Will Hobbs at that moment. You only had Private Party, who was just, okay, I'm going to just do this and just leave. Now, as far as 2 years, 3 years later, Brittnee gave it a C. I might have to give it a B+. Only because if you actually look at the product, if you actually look every week, there's somebody black on your screen. Ricky Starks is still the tag team champion, is part of the tag team champion. Top Flight is in a program with the Best Friends right now.
They stay on.
You had the trio champions with the Acclaimed. So you still, and then of course you have Swerve and Nana and Khan as a 6-man tag champion. So you have the champions there. You have the representation there. You still have Nyla, who just came back. I mean, who's been there? Excuse me. You have Scorpio Sky, who just came back. You have Keith Lee, who's fighting injury, unfortunately, but he's still been there. He's still trying to do a story. So they have gotten a lot better. It seems like they have listened. They just can't get out of their way with the rest of the Elite story. They just can't stop that right now. It's okay because it's their company. It's their company. Young Bucks gonna do what Young Bucks do. Kenny gonna do what he do. That's fine. That's their company. However, there is more representation than people probably give them, recognition for. And are we counting Ring of Honor also? Are we counting Ring of Honor? How are we counting that?
I would count Ring of Honor and AEW together.
Okay,
yeah,
so
for
if
sure.
you count them together, you still have Shane Taylor Promotions, and you still have the Infantry, and
Shout
you
out
still
to
have
Bravo.
Athena as champion. So the representation is there. And they're trying to do things, like I said, they just have to find that balance now. You just got to find
the
the
reason
balance.
I think a lot of those guys that you said are not being acknowledged, like Khan, for one example, they put him they treat them like afterthoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not treated like how they were in Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? That dude is a monster. But that's another story. Acclaim, Ricky Starks. Do you think is because maybe Top Flight, they joke on it. They call themselves the the biracial combat club.
Yes.
And do you think it's because we don't like they're not, you know what I'm saying, of like they don't look like Swerve, or they don't look like Lashley, or they don't look like Moose, like a full black, you know what I'm saying, black a black person, or a full African American or African looking person, you know what I'm saying, not being biracial or anything.
Right.
Do you think that's why they kind of look it as
Yeah.
less than they would see like if, you know what I'm saying,
Because most people didn't realize
other guys were winning?
Most people don't realize that Ricky Starks and Nyla are black.
Mm.
Most people
know
never really realize that. And Top Flight, yes, they are part of the light skin coalition. But if you talk to them and
They are
if
black.
you speak to them, they will tell you that they're black. We
Shout out
as
to
a
the
fan,
Jabari section of the.
Yes, sir.
Facts. Facts.
Shout out to y'all. Y'all hold it down.
None of them are in like logic areas, so that's cool. So it's like I can definitely tell they black. Like, you know, it's not that much of confusion. Ricky Starks just has some really, really, really good hair, so I ain't know if he was mixed with like some fucking Polynesian or some shit like that. Who knows?
He looks
bro?
Creole, man. He looks Creole.
Yep,
He looks
man.
Creole.
Already that
Like,
Creole shit.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man, we gotta all hands on deck, man. We gotta make sure we represent all of these people that are of our culture, man, whether they're mixed, you know what I'm saying, not mixed, whatever, man.
Right.
The diaspora goes far. The diaspora goes very far.
We're family.
We have to get over it as fans. We have to get over, oh, you don't look black enough. Or you have a white wife, you can't represent the culture. We got to get over that because that makes them no less black.
Hey, let's shoulder. Let's shoulder that for another.
Let's
pod about that later.
Because that's a whole.
I know
on that one right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to take this off, and I'm about to go get the kufi. I'm about to go put that joint on. But let's go ahead and move it on. Let's move it on. Okay, Bradley, man, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on whether or not Swole was right, and do you see improvement?
So I definitely thought Swerve was right, and I still think wrestling, pro wrestling, and black space in pro wrestling is still in a progressive state and in an evolving state. Just for so long, you know, there was not really too much of an integrated audience. So it was like the booking, the character work, all of that was to appease one culture, and everybody else was just supposed to enjoy it. So now we're just getting to this point to where we're like, okay, we have this representation, and that's great. We've checked that box. Now it has to be the intent. I heard Jabari say that, you know, they're getting in their way. They're getting in their way because they don't want to break through that barrier of making this guy the face, letting this guy beat Kenny Omega, letting this guy submit Daniel Bryan, letting Lashley tap Brock Lesnar. I've been asking for that.
Been on that. Yeah,
how do you make Bobby Lashley the biggest star? You have him tap your biggest draw. There's things that pro wrestling as a whole still lacks when it comes to how they're presenting black wrestlers to me. And I feel like it's not just a pro wrestling thing. I think pro wrestling heads are pulling data from society. They're pulling data on how blacks has been observed over the years, what we like, what we will tolerate, what we won't tolerate. And now it's getting to the point to where the black fan voice, we're in these spaces and we're really hammering home on, we want to see this. We need to see this. Yo, for so long, the promo was so important in professional wrestling, right? I go back now and none of those promos hit me or really connect with me from a white person or a black person. Like if you think about how black people talk or, you know, different parts of our language, what those white wrestlers were saying back in the day, now I'd be like, yo, that shit was trash. And he may be considered a top promo guy. But now I'd be like, you know, that shit is trash. But I will say that Swole was right, but it is ever evolving. We got Jade from AEW. We had Bianca Belair. We got Carmelo. We got a host of black wrestlers on the main stage, and then as the fans, we have evolved too, because we have been put in these positions to where now black companies can run independently, and it may not be the biggest, but it's getting there. We're putting our dollars there slowly but surely. Oh, they're selling merch. We're doing merch. When Gresham did his thing, I paid for his pay-per-view. Anytime he had something, if there was a show and I can afford it and I knew I wasn't going, I would buy a ticket just so they would have a ticket. So,
yes,
I mean, she was right, but we are in an evolving state, and the future looks bright as far as the black space in professional wrestling.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I agree.
yes.
It's an ever evolving space in pro wrestling, and we're starting to see changes in the entire pro wrestling landscape that will show that a lot of black people are being heard. A lot of things that we side-eyed, some of these companies are correcting. Some of them are a little bit late to the party. You know, it's one of those things. But we're seeing it. So I absolutely agree with you. Listeners, let us know down below. Do you think that Swole was right? And do you feel that the landscape of pro wrestling is changing? Let us know down below.
Or just to kind of add more, like, look at how many different people wrestling unite as fans, right? We are friends with Caucasians, we're friends with Jewish,
definitely
we're friends with Spanish people. And why wouldn't people from other places, and I tell them, why wouldn't you want me to see somebody look like me be the champion and dominate like how you've seen for decades? Right? How they gave you a Rey Mysterio, they gave you a Stone Cold Steve Austin, how they gave you whatever you wanted, a whole smorgasbord or whatever you wanted. You should want to see your friends represented in that space as well. It's simple math.
That's facts. That's facts.
If we had more representation in wrestling in the 90s and 80s, Nation of Domination would be a face faction.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Definitely.
Simple as that.
Definitely. They would have even given them more of a run, because low key, the Nation of Domination run wasn't really that long standing when we look back at it.
Break it down, Nation of Domination was a nasty faction.
It was super. It started off super nasty.
Even the way it ended, it was like some Cointel Pro shit. I swear to God, bro. I don't know what Rock was on, bro. That motherfucker was on some William O'Neill shit with Nation of Domination, bro. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it another time, bro. He dismantled that damn organization, bro. They was running strong, turning niggas to pimps and
he was the
sexual chocolates and shit. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, he was the one. He came in with the he came in with the agenda for sure.
Put Owen Hart in there. It got
hey,
man.
Like shout out to my guy Nugget, but nah, yeah, that wasn't your party, man. That wasn't your cookout, my guy. That wasn't your cookout. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. This is the main event. This is the main discussion. We're gonna basically grade some of the more popular promotions here in the States. I've already tabulated everyone's votes, and I have some averages that are very interesting. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pass it off to a couple of you guys just to talk about the promotion, the factors or variables that we graded our promotions. I'm going to pull it up just so I can make sure I'm absolutely representing our vote to the fullest. Number one, talent acquisition and retention. What were the most notable roster moves, additions, subtractions, all of that good stuff? Number two, relevant storylines, and better yet, championship reigns for talent. That was the second factor. Number three, creative and decision makers, those in the back, making decisions. Who's actually in the back? Who's actually pushing back when they see a Jordan Miles blackface NXT shirt? What the hell were you thinking? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And number four, cultural relevance to us. What actually connected with us as Black fans? What made us want to come back and feel comfortable about returning to that product? So the first promotion that we're going to talk about is going to be WWE, which I will include NXT in this discussion. Brad, you're going to talk about WWE. Go for it.
So what I did, as far as talent acquisition and retention, I thought they had an overall strong year from top to bottom, NXT to WWE. The NXT high,
Okay.
you had Mello cooking with Dragunov, man. As the main event player, he was able to also help give Trick the rub as well. As far as the main roster goes, for a point here, it looked like we was on track to see Montez get a huge breakout, right? We didn't.
That's how the year started off.
We didn't.
Elimination Chamber, yeah.
However, we got to see the evolution of Bianca Belair. We got to see her get another title reign. We got to see her run with the title, drop the title, still be in main events, still be relevant. Because sometimes when a Black wrestler loses a title, they lose steam, they lose the fans, and she's still important. Bianca Belair is goated right now. That's what connects with me. She connects with me. I am praying that they do more with Lashley and the Streets Profits, because I feel like that has money written all over it. Shout out to my guy. You guys know Ricochet is my guy. He had a solid 2023. He did SummerSlam with Logan Paul. He had a couple good matches on TV. I know for maybe a 6-month period, man, him, Sheamus, and probably Santos, Sheamus, and Gunther, I'm sorry, were the MVPs.
They were giving
Friday
it up.
Night on
Yeah,
SmackDown.
they were giving it up on Fridays, for sure.
They was really, really doing their thing. So as far as WWE and NXT, I feel like they made great strides. I actually feel like they have one of the more better complete total up top to bottom when it comes to representation. The one thing, again, this left a completely nasty taste in my mouth, pause, was just how Mercedes and Trinity,
and I wanted to, I wanted to make sure that's acknowledged. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say they were hot at the time. So I don't know exactly what that is. And yeah, that was it. And fans for WWE and NXT, quit acting like Mercedes ain't on the same level as Charlotte, because she is. Y'all can't.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely wanted to push back on your positivity of WWE's roster management, because losing Sasha Banks and Naomi, that was huge to that roster. As soon as you lost them, that's damn near 2/3 of your Black representation on that women's roster. And you don't realize that until you're really looking back at these things. But I definitely agree with you there. Brittnee, I know you have some points when it comes to NXT. Let me know, what were your thoughts when it came to talent acquisition and losses?
NXT did a phenomenal job last year, taking advantage of the talent that they had. Of course, bringing in new people, their use of, I can't really grade, is it Lexus King? I can't really grade him yet. But if you got who just Dragon, we talking about Black or just in general?
We talking Black.
Black, okay, so scratch that
part. We'll leave.
Scratch that part out. So
shout out to him, though. But
right.
Just because he goes to the Black barber, he is not included in this discussion. Just because.
They have done I think the main thing is they have done a phenomenal job with those who may not have been getting over well by themselves. And I'm referring to Metaphor. So I had no idea I was going to like that. I'm thinking another faction, all right, throwing people together, let's see how this goes. But they have literally done an amazing job pushing the faction like that. And we're talking about with Wesley, Carmelo, and with Trick, making Trick relevant and not pretty much making Trick a permanent luggage boy for Carmelo.
Yeah.
So they've done a phenomenal job getting these wrestlers over, and not just them, but allowing the fans to show their support with them. So as far as that type of push, they've done an amazing job. I guess with the women, as far as having the women, I guess because you have to get the other black women to keep pushing and improving and getting better. I can't really judge that part. I just say they need to put a little more of us as far as the women's NXT championship.
I feel that.
You know, because when was the last? Has there been a?
Now we did have a strong showing in the women's breakout tournament.
Yes.
We
now,
had
that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
But I think our last women's champion was Athena.
Right.
It was a thing.
So that says a lot. So yeah. It's time to put the Rocket.
Wow.
I had to think about it. But it's definitely time to target somebody black in that division and be like, okay, you have to be the next one to go over. But it's somebody I feel like that's, like I said, that's why I say Kalani, because I feel like Kalani has what it takes. She reminds me of Bianca Belair. Somebody who came in real quiet, like, where did this girl come from all of a sudden? Just like the breakout tournament, she impressed me there. Bianca impressed me in the Mae Young. So I feel like just target somebody, groom them, get them ready, and then put the title on them. Okay. So that's my only critique about that.
And speaking of titles, let's go ahead and move into that next realm of our grading. Arri, I'm going to let you run quarterback on this. Relevant storylines and, better yet, championship reigns in WWE /NXT.
Start with NXT. Shout out to the North American title. That's the title for the niggas.
Yes, sir.
The niggas, sir. Let it be known.
The knackers.
That is the national African title.
It really is.
You know what I'm saying? The nation of Africa, brother. Stop playing. But no, I just love how, I don't care, man, if it's for whatever, whoever gets it usually is a star. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying? I know he's controversial, but my boy had this title. He was the first to let it be known. Yo, it's up when I got this joint.
It was.
Ricochet got it. It was up. So on and so forth, bro. Every person that had this title that was of African descent turned up with this joint, bro. You know, so shout out to Obafemi, who is continuing the lineage. And I feel like it shows that's really the workhorse title. And it shows that we have a lot of our people that are amazing workhorses for, you know, that sounds crazy knowing our history, but you know what I'm saying, but our amazing workhorses for the company, you know, that need to be awarded for stuff like that. Because Seth Rollins was an amazing workhorse. He gets awarded for stuff like that. Illinois Dragunov is an amazing workhorse. He gets awarded. We need to start getting, you know what I'm saying, the guys that have our ethnicity that are amazing workers to get more, you know what I'm saying, love and get more awards for the work that they put in. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I continue to say that, you know what I'm saying, losing is the new winning. It's about how you do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can come out doing that, you can come out winning strong. You don't always got to be looking up at the lights all your life. You know what I'm saying? Right. We got to learn how to take these moments of building and go through paying the dues and shit like that, but also still, you know what I'm saying, showing that you are worth the talent too. You know what I'm saying? Because we can say, like, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of guys who, I'm gonna say the exact, you know what I'm saying, story, but just being like shunned or not looked at as that great talent like a Miz or something like that. But Miz didn't let that shit stop him. You know what I'm saying? Right. We gotta put that same work ethic in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say, you know what I'm saying, to think like, you know what I'm saying, we in comparison, but it's definitely a different, you know what I'm saying, it's a different work with us. But don't let that shit fucking stop us, bro. Right. We have so much great talent. Definitely. And it's continuing to come in. Like I said, what Lash Legend did in 2023 is so much of improvement than what she had since she came in, bro.
She definitely leveled up.
Proud to see that, man. I was proud to see that. I love when we see the people put in the work and it shows in the ring. What's our boy from Street Profits? Angelo Dawkins.
Oh yeah.
We've been seeing year by year the work he's been putting in, and it's showing on TV. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows that he's putting in that fucking work behind the scenes that most people probably ain't doing, because he got more naysayers than people cheering for him.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Trick is probably the same way. Dude looks like $1 million, but we know it now in WWE, you got to be a worker now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to put in that work. So when I see him in these matches with Dragunov, I'm clapping for him.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's doing what I did not expect, and many other people didn't expect, and he's exceeding. We need more people exceeding what they expect from y'all. You know what I'm saying? We expect them to just be at a certain ceiling of being, you know what I'm saying, a mid-carder or developmental or something of that nature. Whoop-de-whoop. Nah, man.
Mhm.
Mello on SmackDown, he exceeded expectations. What he did in the
cooked.
matches. I was proud. I can't wait for my boy to get on that main stage.
I loved it.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, this height, fuck all of that. When he get in that ring, he's 6'2". You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
That confidence, man, is that confidence, bro. That's why people always look up to Rock bleed that confidence. They ain't let shit die. Right? What? Say less. I'm about to turn up.
Right.
Y'all forgot who I was in Miami.
Facts.
I ain't see that Rock.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
If we be more comfortable with ourselves and use that confidence that we have as Black people, bro, we will turn up and really, really shake fucking rooms. That's why I love to see what Melo doing. When I heard that man say, "Rest in peace," I'm gonna put that nigga on a t-shirt, I'll literally like, what?
Right.
That's us. You know, it's really negative. But shit, I mean, what it is, bro.
Nah.
I ain't never hear nobody say like that. Like, it's up.
It's up.
You know?
It's
so
up.
I love to see, like I said, breaking through and being more free. So when I go to see, like I said, with the title acquisition, it's great seeing with that.
Mm-hmm.
What we say, what Melo did with the NXT title, you know what I'm saying, passing off of what Braun Breaker did. You know, Braun Breaker was the chosen one. And Melo, he fought. He fought to be looked at as the A champion. And when he got that moment, he had him and Ricochet. I think him and Ricochet was with NXT title. I believe so. I'm not sure.
I think it was for the North American.
The North American.
They
another amazing match though. But his run still as the NXT champion was really dope. His set of the whole jerseys, like he made to look like a star. You know what I'm saying? By doing things that we as, you know what I'm saying, Black people are used to, putting our jerseys up in the like slang that we on, you know what I'm saying? So it's just amazing to see things like that. On the WWE side, I mean,
it was Bianca's world, man. It was
Bianca's world. She held it down. She held it down. This year she had more of a not play the side care, but like, how can you play without the off ball type shit? You know what I'm saying? Can you be just as strong off the ball without the ball? And she was. You know what I'm saying? She played great supporting characters and storylines. She played a great supporting character in the War Games match. Like she kept herself relevant, but just as strong, but not being the face of it this year. You know what I'm saying? And I still appreciate, because that's things you gotta do when you're at the top. You're not always gonna be at the top. Can you handle that when you're not at the top? Can you still be just as relevant? And she did that. So that was great to see. I'm happy R-Truth came back. Yes. He's on fire right now. I'm great to see what he's doing with the Judgment Day, bro. It's always entertaining. He's always switching it up, bro. He's always switching it up. You know what I'm saying? So you can't always say he's just stuck in one place or he's just doing this he's actually finding different ways to bring great comedy to wrestling where it's a lack of it in these days, you know?
I feel that.
And I'm glad you said that, because when he first showed up and inserted himself in that storyline, I wasn't feeling that. I said, okay, Judgment Day is a little too serious to put the comedy in there. But seeing like Dame almost break character, Dime, all that, it's flowing. It's perfect.
It works.
Like, what was I talking about? This is gold. So yeah, I like it.
I feel that.
He's the Judgment Day what Sammy was the Bloodline.
Yep.
I finally get it now.
Yeah,
finally get it now. So I'm happy to see that, man. You know what I'm saying? Rock is back on TV. We're in a good space storyline wise. I'm trying to think of more Black wrestlers on the main roster right now.
Well, you brought a lot of positives. I'm gonna be negative Nancy. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
whatever.
think.
I'm gonna push back constantly. Yeah. Bobby Lashley's booking has been very suspect. Very suspect. Because he's obviously got the star quality, and it should be so much more going on. Street Profits as well. Honestly, a lot of us thought once it was Bobby and Street Profits, we thought it was up. We thought it was going down, but that has yet to come to fruition.
Yeah, they get
maybe
that every week.
Maybe that means 2024 is going to be a good one.
What's
but
going on with Odyssey Jones?
Right.
We thought he's gonna join, or they just been having him sitting in the cut. That dude I think that is a babyface monster waiting to like a
he should
different
be
type
where
of
Oba
babyface
is
though.
right now, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, put him back on NXT. Get him active. I think that dude will be a very great babyface that WWE is not used to with his size.
But then once you start throwing in a couple guys like Omos has disappeared, all but he's disappeared.
Well, they said they're gonna use him as an attraction for the big shows and shit like that, which is like, I guess.
Yeah.
But where's the development in that really? But
true.
Let me just drop this in right quick.
Yeah.
Everything that everybody is saying is great. However, you got to give a little bit more support to these people. And I mean as us as fans.
For sure.
And I know we'll get back to it a little bit later. I know we'll get to it if we get time. But all of them, what they're presenting to us on TV is great. If we as black fans don't actually put out the money for it, it will be all for naught.
That's true.
Like, unfortunately, that's what I believe happened with Lashley. We just didn't get behind him in
that's a fact.
Monetary way. So it's like, oh, we gave y'all him as champion. What did y'all do with it?
That's true. That is true.
What did y'all do with it?
Fact.
Very fair
What did y'all do? Okay, y'all apparently y'all not liking him as champion. All right, we're just gonna push him to the side now. You see what I'm saying? So we can come back to that, but I just want to throw that little tidbit out.
But it's a
that's
thing
fair
that,
point.
like when I go out to shows, bro, it's a lack of signs.
Right,
It's a lack of
that's what I'm saying.
showing fandom that way on the internet. Like it's a lack of way showing fandom on there. Like people are scared to be like real fans these days, bro. Like when I went to the AEW show, I was geeked to make signs. I was geeked to make signs because like that's what I'm used to. That shows my fan. That shows what I'm here for. I'm cheering for. Like you should like when people wanted Daniel Bryan to be the guy, they made it known. Like
That's the whole point right there.
You feel me? Like
we have to lift our voices also.
For sure.
Even if we don't give them the money, like you said, here's a sign. Okay, dress up as Bobby Lashley. I know you ain't gonna be at a wrestling show in a 3-piece suit. However, but you know what I'm saying? You know, dress up because these people are still not afraid to dress up like Dusty Rhodes with the polka dots. You saw that on TV last. Right, you saw that on TV last
with the
week.
headband, man.
But you see what I'm saying? We got to get behind them.
I feel that.
We got to let the company know. But go ahead. I just want to interject.
That's a strong point.
Bring your red cups.
Yeah.
Bring
the
red
cup. You know what I'm saying?
And in Orlando, they were doing that. At NXT, they were cooking with that.
Now, I was gonna say this. Where I'm at, like as far as like Lashley, Street Profits, we supported. You gotta remember WrestleMania when he was a champion. I know myself, and I went with a group of black guys. We stood in the rain to watch Lashley. We had Lashley T-shirts, and we were cheering when he submitted Drew McIntyre. We were the only ones cheering, matter of fact, because everybody thought Drew McIntyre was going to get the title back. But our support as black fans, I think it's there. I think it's getting...
I don't know now.
I think I know where he's getting.
Okay,
we PODDIN.
I think it's getting other people to get there because when people, and I said this earlier, there was a certain stuff is targeted towards a certain demographic, and everybody's supposed to be okay. So when they got behind Danielson, so did we. We didn't boo Danielson. We got behind him too. When they got behind the Miz, so did we. But when we got a chance, they don't get behind us.
But hold on. Here's the deal. We might be behind them, but we're not behind them out loud. That's the biggest difference. We are
minority.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak within
the quiet majority more so.
Right. I'm gonna speak within the nation's, context.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We are within our space. We are loud as shit. We go to watch parties. We do this. We do that. We do that. But it seems like once we get out in public, it dies down just a little bit every time. Because I've gone to every AEW show here in Atlanta. I've gone to every Impact show in Atlanta. I've gone to a few WWE shows in Atlanta. I'm out here. And when I tell you, we are not as vocal or out loud with our fandom as everybody else. It just shows that everybody else like, oh, okay, if you're not going to cheer for him, why would I cheer for him?
So we need to start mobbing to wrestling events together. Is that what you saying?
Yes, we do.
Yes, a call to action.
Yes, it is a call to action.
I'm gonna be real blunt.
As loud as we talk, as loud as we were like, oh, this is our guy, this is our guy, this is our guy, that. Hey, get out there, like you said, with your signs. We need 3 or 4 more signs. We need 5 or 6 more people doing the Nana dance. We need more Carmelo is him shirts out there. That's what we need to do. We need to be a little bit more out loud with it. Then people might be like, okay, maybe, just maybe, if I see that they're supporting him, maybe I should support him.
It's cool to support him. Yeah, that's a good point.
So with Jabari, that's a good point because if you look at if you go WrestleMania weekend, if you go to all those shows, like Wale Mania, perfect example. The love they show Black, it's a time. If you've never been a Wale Mania, you need to go. It's a time. But the love they show Black wrestlers there needs to be poured over into consistency as far as being on social media. I don't feel like it's consistent. Like that whole 4 or 5 hours in that one little arena or building, pouring love, showing support, all across the board in professional wrestling. Like that needs to carry over on social media because that weekend they get the most love, they get the most support. But as soon as that weekend is over, when Monday come and go, some of them quiet. So just keep the consistency going with the support. And like y'all pay attention. Impact, AEW, WWE, they listen. They're paying attention to what's going on social media. Like they're listening to the fans.
I just don't want us to have that fear of, saying, let's be, like you said, let's be as open as we are in the private as we are in public.
Yes.
Let's not have that fear when we're in white spaces be us. Let's talk that shit. Like we need to be us full blown wherever we at. Like when I was at the I was make sure I was getting down to that Nana dance. But when I see videos of these white people trying to do my nigga Pop, rest in peace Pop, you know what I'm saying? He would be rolling in his grave seeing the way they were doing his dance. Yeah, struggling, bro. And I'm like, nah, son. They need to see how we really get down, son. Like, and like I said, we have more people doing on TikTok, showing them how to do the whatever. Black wrestling Twitter should be just as big as Black Twitter.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Like I see us on the social media. We are active. We are what is it? Public Enemies. They are hilarious. They probably one of my favorite, social media people to follow on wrestling because they are hilarious when it comes to the memes, the jokes, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't see nobody funnier than them. You know,
and they're one of the biggest Black podcasts out there too.
Yeah,
come on.
They're the biggest. They're the biggest Black podcast on Twitter that I know of.
They should be way.
They should be up there with the Solid Monsters and all of that shit, bro. Like we have enough representation that we should be going to them before we go to the Jerichos, before we go to Wrestling Observer. Man, fuck all of the, you know what I'm saying, dirt sheets, man. Let's just go to hear our people talk about some dope wrestling like we would hear this way we talking right now, you know what I'm saying? And have that same conversations loud on social media.
We're unfortunately too new to this. We're still a little bit too new to the space.
Yeah.
Yes. That's only unfortunate. We have
true.
Oh, go ahead, Brittnee.
That's the point, Jabari. That's so one thing, and like I said, this could be a whole topic for a different day. What we also need to do first, I think the foundation is not going against each other. We all are in this same space trying to make it to the top. And if you pay attention on social media, sometimes it's a lot of bickering back and forth in between us.
Definitely.
That's not what we're here for. Like we literally need to come together, support this. It's gonna be a wrestling podcast that's gonna start tomorrow. Support whoever's there, whoever's at the top, push them higher. Whoever wants to go to the top, push them higher. Just support it all, and that's it. Just support.
And we're not saying that you should blindly support somebody,
right?
Because if they f up, they just f up, and we should be able to be like, hey, bro, you messing
Right.
up over here.
Right.
He's
If you don't
trying to
stand,
always,
if you don't stand with their ideology, then you're more than welcome to
Right.
pardon
right.
yourself from the
Right.
conversation. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, for sure.
But if
For sure.
if we're all standing on business,
hmm
you know, it's fine that, you know, we're all in this together.
Right.
Brittnee said we're all in this together. Just make sure now that you know these podcasts are out here. Just go, just listen. It's free to listen.
Right.
It's free to listen to this podcast right now.
Definitely.
It's gonna be free. It's gonna be in all of our groups. It's gonna be
Patreon
free.
on the way.
Hey,
Patreon on the way. We trying to get
that money, bro.
Nah, I'm joking. Shout out to y'all.
No, get it.
Let's go ahead. We're gonna, for the sake of time, let's go ahead and quickly run through it. Backstage, creative and decision makers at WWE NXT. Man, we got Norman Smiley at NXT. Who was my guy? Who was Kurt Angle's son? What's his name?
Jason Jordan.
Oh, Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan is a producer back there. They unfortunately lost Devon last year as a WWE producer. So I'm trying to think, is there anybody else backstage?
They fired that black chick.
And I wanted to bring that up. We definitely had to bring that up, that the writer who got fired, she was a black woman who in her lawsuit, she claimed that WWE was racist, and a lot of their creative directions and meetings or whatnot, we got to take that into account when we grade out WWE and NXT, because she's there, she experiences it on a day-to-day basis. That's legit. Right. Cultural relevance to us when it came to WWE NXT. What gimmicks stood out to you? What brought you back to watching it and being invested? And which ones turned you off, frankly?
Something that turned me off, but they turned it around, was what they were doing with Reggie, right? I thought he was very, very talented.
Okay.
I thought he had a lot to offer. He was running around flipping and, you know, chasing behind, what was it, Dana Brooks at the time? And now he's with OTM, and I think they're going to hit a stride soon. I told you guys the other night, I like them. They just need to get their gear together a little bit. I didn't like what they were doing with Lashley initially with Lana. But again, they turned that around. Something, again, like I said, Bianca, she's goated. Sasha Banks, they are goated. I still have from WrestleMania, and this shirt sold out. I still have that Bianca Sasha Banks main event T-shirt from WrestleMania a few years ago. But Sasha, of course, not Sasha, but Bianca, of course, she sticks to the culture's ribs. Even though, you know, their booking isn't the best, we're still waiting on. We see the upside with Lashley and the Street Profits, and we know it can be a quick turnaround. We're just waiting on that, and of course, Trick and Mello, right?
Definitely.
You see them, they come to the Trick Mello. They come down to the.
They got white people saying "whoop that trick." Like, let's be for
real.
Right.
They probably don't even know where that came from, or
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
they don't know about the mind.
Just look at their
they probably do more than you think they do. They
think
know.
so?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Who? Trick and
I
Mello,
think they know more than you.
Nah, just the cultural relevance of whoop that trick. Just that cultural relevance.
I think that's something that sticks, and I just like how they look. Like, they look like us, dress like us, talk like us, and they're serious, and they're picking up serious W's. They're holding titles, and they have serious opportunity. And for so long, we've been presented in a space of a joker or a gesture or different things like
lesser
that.
than.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
lesser
great
than.
to see
That's
them.
what,
like, they come to the ring with their Cartier buffs on. They have the varsity jackets on, no t-shirts, their Gucci belts, their Jordan 1s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their purple jeans. Like, they just personify the modern black swag, the modern black language in that space. And again, you know, those are things I feel like stick. And even like Lash Legend, I felt like they were trying to kind of make her into Bianca / Jade. And I think she's finding her own little niche here in her little space, and I'm digging
For sure.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nah, I feel
those
that.
are some
She be
things as
fly.
far as
She be
culture.
fly as
Yeah,
hell.
cultural relevancy. I mean, hey, hey, baby.
We're in the space to be more free to be us more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who been in HBK ear, man, but he been letting us just be
Get our
us,
shit off.
bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I love it, bro. Like, I don't know, and I'm not saying H didn't do this either, but it's just more. It's just more these days, and I love it, bro. Like when I see, like I never seen Noam Dar give this fly. If he dressed like this in regular, I don't know.
Nah,
Jakara
that's by
and
proxy.
I feel like Jakara
That's by proxy.
and Last
Yeah,
Legend.
we've been
Yeah,
influenced
they've
by
been
guy
getting my
Norm.
boy
Yeah,
right. Like nah.
yeah.
Put this on right here. You look,
Right.
yeah,
We've been getting my
yo.
guy
I feel like
Dar right. We've been getting him right. We've been getting him
dog.
right.
Like Mello been coming through looking like just with the Lettermans, with the jackets, with the glasses, man, the barbershop talks and such like that, bro. I ain't having the settings in the barbershop was so perfect. Like it's just come on, and it didn't feel corny or nothing. It felt like they were actually at a real barbershop having a real conversation with they real people. Like it was dope, and it felt like they're not trying to, hey, let us be. No, like we'll show you how to do this the right
And
way.
that's key.
You know what I'm saying? Let us do it right. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they just going like, all right. Why would we? You know what I'm saying? Try to put our, you know what I'm saying, control over this. They would know better than we. You know what I'm saying?
And that's key. I mean, that's authentic. We feel we see that as being somewhat authentic versus it just being scripted, which wrestling is. Spoiler alert, but it seems more authentic.
Real quick, I got to shout out because these brothers, they are really, really talented, and I can't wait till they get an opportunity. Idris and Malik the Freak, them dudes is very, very, very talented. I'm telling you, once they get their shot, everybody will be like, whoa. I'm telling you, they're super talented.
And listen, I hope there's some type of mishap between Trick and Mello for them to win on Tuesday. I'm here for it.
Okay. Well, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and give you all the grade for WWE. The grade for WWE amongst the panel was a B minus, and that's taking into account all of the factors that we previously spoke about. Let's go ahead and move on to AEW. We're gonna do a little bit less detailed as the last one for the sake of time. Again, Jabari, I want you to lead it, the discussion in the sense of let's go ahead and start off with talent acquisitions and losses.
All right, the biggest did Swerve came in 2023 or 2022? Did he come
I think
in 20?
he came 2022. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, he would have been my biggest acquisition as far as AEW, but the biggest loss, of course, would be Jade. I think Jade is definitely the biggest loss. But as far as talent, as a 5-year company, they have been making good moves as far as acquiring black talents. They haven't really acquired anybody within the last year outside of Jay Lethal and Swerve, I don't believe.
And I'm sorry, we also have to include ROH in this because it's plenty of great black talent there. So yeah, we
Athena
definitely
and
got to
then
add
the
them.
infantry. Yeah, Athena, the infantry, and Stokely Hathaway. So I would say I would go back for the past 2 years. For the past 2 years, they've been making a lot of big moves. Swerve was their biggest move coming in. Jay Lethal to shore up some things. The infantry on Ring of Honor to shore up that over there. They signed Lee Moriarty within that time also. Who else did they sign? Top Flight. Yeah. They signed Top Flight.
Trish Adora.
Trish Adora and Kiera Hogan too.
Yes.
They got Kiera Hogan. Shout out to Kiera. And let's see who else. Red Velvet and Willow. I forgot about Willow. Willow came within the last 2 years. So AEW, like we going back to what the conversation about Swole, they've gotten better because they have shown you, yes, we're going to get talent. We're going to get this black talent now. As far as the loss, of course, like I said, Jade is the biggest black talent that they lost. And I think that's actually one of the only black talents that they lost, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when it comes to in-ring talent,
they lost Sonny Kiss too.
Sonny as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Good
point.
You're right. I apologize.
Yes.
I forgot about Sonny Kiss. They did lose Sonny Kiss also. That was a big blow for them too. But as far as, without giving the grade away, they have been steadily getting the black talent in there. They have been steadily putting them in places where they can be seen. Oh, and I forgot about Keith Lee. Keith Lee has come in too, even though he is injured and been on and off a little bit. When he's on, he's on.
Right.
When he's on, he's on. So, the moves that they're making are great.
Okay.
We have to get behind them, of course, like I said, but the moves that they make, they're pretty good right now.
Okay. What about relevant storylines and championships?
Okay. It depends upon how you weigh the championships. If you see the tag team championships as a relevant championship, they had done great because they went from Swerve and Keith Lee straight over to the Acclaimed. That rivalry back and forth last year had everybody captivated. They were, and these are guys that are just being themselves. They're not really being a stereotype. They're just being themselves. Hey, Bowens is a gay wrestler, and it's like, okay, you're a gay wrestler. That's it.
That's him.
We love you for it.
Nothing extra, nothing less. That's him. Yeah, for sure.
And Max is a wannabe wrestler, and a wannabe rapper, and it's like, okay, that's what your role is right now. Swerve is a businessman. That's what his role is. And we accept everybody for what their role is. It's not an over stereotype. They're not, even with Sonny Kiss, they are just, who they were in AEW. They just weren't, they are the gay character. They are this. They are the hip hop. No, they're just wrestlers that are just being wrestlers on a show. And I think that's most important because now you get to see more of yourself on the show. Because
definitely,
I've never been a big hip hop guy like that. I'm more of an R&B type guy, neo soul type guy. I can see myself now being the businessman on the show. I get to see different facets of black life on the show just because. And that's the most important part to me. Just like Keith Lee. Keith Lee goes out there, wreck shop, and leaves. That's it. Top Flight. They're excitable guys. We all know excitable guys. They go out there, be excitable, keep on moving. Private Party, they're the club guys. Hey, we all know the club guys. It's nothing over stereotypical right now. Except with Hobbs at first. Hobbs was that, the angry black man, and then he kind of weaned off of that a little bit.
Right. Okay. So. All right. Let's
real
move
quick
on.
To Jabari.
Go ahead, Brittnee.
Yes.
I may not like Tony Khan, but one thing he will do is pay attention to what's going on social media for sure, especially pushing black talent, making them relevant. So I give him that. That's all. I ain't got nothing else for him.
No, I mean Tony needs to lay off the two of the fingers.
Lord have mercy.
Well, the X fingers, whatever you want to call it now.
I'm letting you run ISO. You got it. No. Run ISO because I want you to talk about that. Like, what are your thoughts? Because as of recording, Tony Khan has had his Twitter meltdown, and a lot of us, myself included, have had the liberty of laughing at him, pointing and laughing at him just being outraged off of the most foolish things. So just as a little side conversation, like, what are your thoughts? You obviously enjoy AEW wrestling. What are your thoughts on Tony Khan reacting in this way?
He needs to stop being a fan and start being an owner sometimes. Don't get me wrong, Scott D'Amore on Twitter is funny too, But Scott D'Amore doesn't melt down just like this. Tony has to learn that you don't have to react to every single little tweet.
Right.
Oh, I don't like AEW this week. Well, let me tell you why AEW is great this week. Let me tell you why this person. Why is this person? No, Tony, stop, bro. Now, as far as Brittnee's point is concerned, yes, he will listen to what people are saying on Twitter. Hey, Swerve is getting really popular. Hey, let me do a little bit more to push Swerve out there. Let me drop these small little tidbits. Yes, let me just be like at a press conference. Hey, Swerve is going to be our next black champion because he said that before. So he just needs to just tone it down just a little bit.
So
don't react. Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say to Brittnee's point. With Swerve, not with Swerve. Excuse me, with Tony Khan, and I've said this on our podcast. One great thing he does is he let a wrestler work through and find his gimmick, finds what works for them, and it's apparent, and it hit with Swerve. Now, for me, I've been very vocal, and I said, listen, I said this back after Swerve had his first match with Hangman. He needs to be the champion by February. So listen, and I get it.
Ooh.
People gonna call it pandering. Go ahead and pander to me this February. I'll take it. Give me Swerve as a champion.
You podding.
Now listen, I cannot let Swerve get away with that nastiness, because you cannot go on TV and say, I want to be the first African American champion, but when BRP put you on the black top 50, you was like, oh, that's cloudy, and you trying to divide people, and it's not about me being a African American. It's just I'm a dope wrestler, bro. That's nastiness. We love you, Swerve. You gotta apologize for the nastiness, bro. That was super.
He also gotta apologize for that tweet that he erased too.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Now, don't get me wrong. You have a right to vibe out to whatever you want to vibe out to.
That is your right. That. Yeah, that was nasty.
Right,
too.
you have every right to.
That was so ugly.
What did he say?
But Swerve, you got all these niggas behind you.
Right.
You got all these naysayers behind you, and you're going to be like, "Hey, the girl is black and ugly." No, sir. Even if you agreed with 100%, guess what? Guess what, bro? Hey, apologize and keep it moving.
That's it.
Yeah. You are.
Don't get me wrong. I know this is rap. We grew up in Adrian. Me and you grew up in Atlanta in the 90s.
For sure.
We know. However, it's 2024. Hey, bro, you want to represent that company? You got to apologize for that.
You got to be careful.
Because everybody's looking out for every little thing to get you at this point.
Every little.
And you
thing.
almost slipped. You almost slipped. You almost slipped. And that's the other part. Let me say this one point. That's the other part too. Us as black people, let it slide. We weren't as vocal. We weren't as vocal about that either. We're not vocal about the positive. We're not also vocal about the negative that our people do.
I mean, it comes down to it. If you're gonna stand on business, like we all say, we gotta stand on it. We gotta stand on it no matter what. So, Bradley, shout out to you for even holding Swerve accountable to that, because that I forgot to even mention that. But it's one of those things. We gotta hold those guys accountable, and if they really wanna represent us, they gotta accept accountability.
And it's as simple as an apology or y'all,
it's simple. It's super simple. Right. It's super simple. Shout out to BRP. Shout out to what they're doing. It's as simple as Swerve reaching out to them and saying, you know what? I was off base. It's all good. My apologies. I guarantee they're more than willing to continue things. They want to talk about. That's the thing about Black podcasts. We want to talk about and prop up the Black talent within our space.
Right.
Like
Yes.
none of us are doing this, putting on headphones and plugging in a mic to shit on some other black person. Like if you're doing that, you're a weirdo.
Strange, yeah.
Straight up. But most of us, like 95% of us that I've met through online WrestleMania trips, whatever, we're all here for the same collective reason for whatever reasons or not, which is to uplift and push the black talent within our space because it's heavily needed. So I mean we're talking about AEW again. Let's talk about cultural relevance. So Bradley, do you want to hit on that when it comes to AEW or
I mean, let's talk about it. Swerve got the hottest dance, the hottest entrance in all of professional wrestling. We're gonna call it like it is. So as far as relevancy go, I mean, he's right there. Also, I don't know if anybody else enjoyed this, but hey, Tony Khan had Rick Ross on the show, and he had one of the funniest segments.
good call. Good call. Good call. Good call.
He had one of
Good
the
call.
funniest
It needs to be
segments
acknowledged.
in
Facts.
professional wrestling. You know what? Tony Khan, he may be tone deaf on some things, but hey, he'll hit the marker. Oh, we in New York? Let's get Fab in.
West Side Gun. He brought
Yeah.
West
I
Side
was just
Gun
about to say
in
West
for an
Side Gun.
entrance.
Yeah, we
One
got
of the
West
biggest
Side.
wrestling fans, one of the biggest hip hop curators.
Here's
He
a big
brought out West
question.
Side.
Here's a big question. Has AEW accepted hip hop culture better than any wrestling company so far?
Absolutely.
Does it seem that way?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Because that's highly important right now. Yes, all of us are a little bit older, but it just seems like AEW has zeroed in like, okay, hip hop, you have a home here. Whereas other companies are still a little bit slow to do it, and they don't realize that the hip hop culture and wrestling always have gone hand in hand. They've always gone hand in hand.
Yeah. AEW's authentic with it too, right? Because WWE make some attempts here and there, but AEW's attempts seem more authentic when it comes to presenting hip hop culture in wrestling.
I can agree with that.
And I said, some time back, I was challenging on the internet. This might have been a year ago. I was like, yo, one of these companies need to do something with West Side Gun. He makes shirts. He's vocal about being at the wrestling events. He spends money on you guys' events. So it just seems like AEW is very, very authentic with that as far as presenting hip hop culture in that space. WCW back in the day, I don't know if they knew what was going on, but you had the Wolfpack, right? Those guys were heavily influenced by Tupac. They wore their bandanas and they wore their red and they were throwing up their West Side, their W's and all that different stuff.
Kevin Nash wearing FUBU.
Right.
Kevin
listening
Nash
to
wearing
Pac.
FUBU.
Listening to Pac. He was locked in.
And listen, before he passed away, I met Scott Hall, and he told me himself. He said, "Man, we were heavily influenced by Death Row. We love Tupac. We love all of those guys, man." He said, "We used to listen to them guys all the time."
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, Cena was out here with throwback jerseys.
This is fact.
Yeah. Giving us
He
balls.
was big in that. Yeah, definitely. All right, and before we move on from AEW, we gotta shout out the backstage of AEW. Jabari, I know Will Washington he got brought on last year, and he was, by all right and whatever reports you would listen to, dirt sheets, he was essentially considered one of Tony's right hand man. So was there anybody else backstage that you would point out or highlight?
At that time during AEW Dark, Captain Sean Dean.
Yes, good point.
I believe he was the booker for AEW Dark.
But
I know that he did have a huge backstage
he's
presence.
with ROH Infantry.
Yeah, he's with ROH now, but yeah, he had a huge backstage presence. I'm not quite sure if anybody else offhand, but Will and Captain Sean Dean, yeah.
That's what I saw. Okay, so the collective grade for AEW for 2023 was a C. That was a collective average amongst all of us. So, though, use that grade however you feel. Let's move on to MLW. I'm not going to be as detailed as our previous discussions. I'm going to be honest with y'all. My main discussion point has been the Bumaye Fight Club and Alex Kane holding it down for the people. Shout out to Mr. Thomas. Those guys, they have a number of black talent. Not all of us on the panel have watched MLW.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those maybe one person discussions type deal. But for the sake of time, we want to shout out Alex Kane. He's been champ for for MLW for a majority of 2023. He's been in he's been in some huge programs. He got a match against Kojima. That's a wrestling honor in itself if you're into pro wrestling. But he's held it down. Mr. Thomas has been more confident as a professional wrestler, using his mouthpiece, that sort of thing. And like I said, man, I'm seeing white people wearing Bumaye gear. So that in itself is kind of like, dog, those dudes over, man. They're over. So Jabari, you got any thoughts on MLW? I know you're somewhat familiar with those guys.
I'm just more familiar with the Bumaye Fight Club.
For sure.
And the fact that, Alex Kane is an Atlanta guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have followed him damn near since the beginning, since he was at the WWA for. So I followed him since 2018. So I've followed his whole career, and to see that he has shouldered this company, and he's not just a champion, he is their workhorse champion, because he said,
Definitely.
Hey, you give me the ball, I'm going to run with it. I'm going to improve every single match, every single program. Every time you see me on TV or on Fight or whatever you see me doing, I'm striving to improve on it. And so far, the 6 months reign has been incredible to me.
Yeah, he's been cooking.
It's been incredible to me, and he's been representing, like you said, he's gotten white people, saying "Bumaye,"
which is hilarious. It's hilarious. Anytime that I see it, I'm laughing. Me personally, I'm laughing. So,
and just
shout
to
out
see
to them.
him bring in all, just a lot of black people on TV, just shouting "Bumaye." And the way his interests are, just the energy that he brings to his interests, everybody, Bumaye, Bumaye, and then him coming out just feeling it from all of his people. That's a black ass interest. Let's just call it what it is. That's just a black ass interest, and it's one of the best interests.
No, I was just saying he's drawing more eyes to the company. Like me, for instance, right? Boom, he got me on board. To where I'm watching and checking for him on a regular. And then you get a chance to check out other talent within the company. So it definitely was a good look for not only them, but for him as a wrestler. He's still hitting certain spots in certain scenes. So Alex Kane is one to watch. He may be that next just huge breakthrough star, and when his contract up, everybody's after him. So
he's gonna be on everybody's radar.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to him. Shout out to Alex. Also notes a point when it comes to MLW. I couldn't really find too much more information backstage. Shout out to Court Bauer because he does a great job of letting those guys figure out their gimmick and get themselves over. Somebody like Barrington Hughes, a couple years ago, he was over like Rover in MLW. And it's been a number of examples of guys that just figure their gimmick out and they cook at MLW, and he allows them that he allows him that freedom. So our grade overall for MLW would be a C minus, just so everyone knows.
I do want to say for me, a lot of what factored into that grade was exposure for them.
Okay.
Right.
So, it's at some point, I hope that all of the independent companies, smaller companies, can brainstorm together and get something on Fight where they can put everybody weekly, everybody pay just all in one spot. And we don't mind paying $19.99. If you guys
Right.
are all there, all in one spot, and we can consume the wrestling in one spot.
I will say MLW is on Fight. If listeners, if you've never watched MLW, I would say go ahead and look at their YouTube, watch a couple shows. You'll catch the vibe almost immediately. It's a super fun show. And again, he allows them creative freedom to really figure some things out. It's some stars there. Like Hammerstone was built through MLW. And whatever we see of him in the future, I know our focus right now is on black talent, but Hammerstone, I got to give him props. Alexander Hammerstone, he was built through MLW. He's going to be a star wherever he goes. I'm kind of hoping that he goes to Impact just through landscapes, but they allow them freedom and to get over with that crowd. And I've been to MLW shows live, and it's lively, it's fun, and the crowds just love you, man. The crowds are all in on you. So shout out to MLW, shout out to Court Bauer and all of his efforts, because me as a professional wrestling fan, I really do appreciate your efforts. So if you don't get that enough, I'm shooting it out to you right now. Let's go ahead and move on to Impact. Jabari, I want you to take lead in the sense of additions, subtractions, and then talk about title reigns.
Okay, we got to get the elephant out of the room. Trinity. She is one of the biggest acquisitions in wrestling. She was one of the biggest free agents of all time. I would dare to say that because of the noise that she made. Trinity revolutionized a division that was already pretty much miles ahead of a lot of other divisions, a lot of other women's divisions. Yep. Jonathan Gresham on a smaller scale. Jonathan Gresham was a great addition. Kevin Knight was another great addition. Impact was just like AEW in the sense that every addition that they made was they just let everybody be who they are. They weren't as stereotypical. They weren't coming in just to be like, hey, this is my gimmick. No, I'm coming in to do work. And then I'm going to just go ahead and do my thing. Now, as far as them losing people, I believe the only person they've lost so far would be Kenny King. Kenny King has just been lost a couple of months ago. And I forgot who they just signed a couple of months ago in the UK. As of last month, I forgot who that was. But all the moves that they've been making
He's young.
are just...
He's like 19.
Right.
Leon
I cannot
Slater.
think of...
Leon Slater.
Yeah,
right?
that's him.
There
that's
you go.
Him.
Thank you.
Leon. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking of.
Leon Slater.
You're right. I didn't know much about him. Then I had to look him up as soon as he was signed, and I was like, "Yo,
gets busy.
Yo, this man is going to be the future." So yeah. And as far as them keeping people, Moose signed a contract last year. Chris Bay signed a contract last year. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, Tasha Steele signed a contract last year also.
I think so.
So I know Impact used to be the butt of jokes. I get it. I totally understand. And Brittnee knows that I've been holding Impact down for the Impact Inner Circle, which is now the TNA Inner Circle. We've been holding it down
10 toes down.
We were 10 toes. It used to be 10 comments on the thread, and that's it.
Yep.
10 comments, and that was it for a whole night. But it's like now Anthem has gotten behind them.
Mm-hmm.
They're now, Access TV is now on more channels. So they are putting money behind the company. And now they're showing their people, hey, I want you to stay. I'm going to give you a contract that is actually worth a damn. I'm going to actually put you in programs that are worth a damn. Because Moose and Jonathan Gresham were in the main event picture at one point.
Yes.
They both float in and out, but they've been in the main event picture pretty much the whole time that they've been there. Like I said about Chris Bay a little bit earlier, Chris Bay was on the top of the X division. Now he's on top of the tag team division.
Yep.
So whether you like them or not, Impact has always been the steady company. Even when you go back to Bobby Lashley, when he was walking Armageddon. When he was walking Armageddon, they presented him as a star. They presented him as the baddest man in any wrestling company at that time. That's what Impact is good at. They will present you as a star. Trinity, when Trinity came to Atlanta, they all gave us glow lights. Look, Trinity's interest is going to be special when she comes here. We're going to make it special. We're going to show that, hey, thank you for coming to our company. Thank you for signing this contract. Now let's see what you're going to do. And we're going to make you look like a star. And she has been showing the hell out.
Definitely.
If she leaves, I can't be mad about it. Right. It's a damn good ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Even to a lesser extent with Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss came in the matches with Trinity and came right on in. Hey, we're going to have this program right quick. And it was a memorable program. It wasn't anything stereotypical. Oh, Sonny Kiss, they're just being, gay or flamboyant. No, they came in, they worked. They worked. So Impact, to me, has been doing their thing. And, of course, like I said, Tasha Steele still being there. Rich Swann hasn't been doing as much lately. But he's still relevant. Everybody, put it like this, everybody black is still pretty much relevant on that roster.
I feel that.
So
now I know Devon did return to Impact for, I don't know if it was a one-off ish.
Okay.
But he did return 2023. Do you know if any chance of him working backstage with them somehow, or was it more so a one-off?
I believe it was a one-off, but I believe that there are black people that run backstage. Okay. Because I've gone to the shows and just noticed that people who are just things in their ears and everything like that. Like they seem to have a pretty good grasp of having people backstage to help out. Okay. So I can't verify that. I cannot verify that.
Okay. All right. So that's a great summary. Shout out to you, Jabari, for giving that summary, because I've kind of fallen off on Impact, even though that's more on me versus them as a product. I go whenever they're a live show. If they're here in Atlanta, center stage, I'm locked in. So we normally see each other. I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there for sure. But as in TV, it's kind of hard catching that. But, it's just one of those things. If it's important to you, you're going to go and watch it. You're going to seek it out. You're going to make sure you watch it. Now, surprisingly, I don't know if y'all caught the win that Impact actually had the highest score out of all the promotions. So shout out to Impact, who walked away with a B+ in our grade. So shout out to them. Like I said, Jabari, you gave a great analysis of what's currently going on. They're at Impact, or TNA now. We might as well go ahead and start calling it TNA. Shout out to them. Yeah, for sure. So we're just looking forward to it, and we're enjoying it. But those are our ratings.
Oh, let me say something about the cultural relevance.
Yes, please.
They seem to go to places where they know that the people will come out. What I mean by that is they go to Memphis. They come here to Atlanta. They're here in Atlanta a lot. They seemingly go to black cities to get a certain reaction. whether it's pandering or not. They do know their audience, and when you come to their shows, they're going to use a lot of Atlanta's black talent. They're going to use a lot of Memphis's black talent, because
That's
I know
true.
we've both
That's
seen a
very
lot
true.
of our guys, our black guys, on their show.
That's
and
a
we're not
fact.
just talking about, hey, you're just going to get beat up by this person and keep on. No, just like
You keep it
I know
put
he's
on.
I know he's not black, but Alan Angels at the time, when they
Okay.
came, Alan Angels was put on by Impact, got to show what he could do and keep on going. Kevin
Right.
Knight, another Atlanta guy. Whenever they're here, Kevin Knight has some of the best matches of the night. And they just let him cook for like 15, 20 minutes. They just let him go.
I'm glad you brought him up, because he was definitely one of those guys that I consider to be next up for 2024, because he's super talented. He cooks, and all he needs is the opportunity. That's literally the only thing in his way, is opportunity.
Kushida gave him a really good look, having him partner up with him. I love that look that they had together.
Yeah, Kevin Knight would be up next
for sure. All right, well, listen, guys, it was a great recording. I really appreciate y'all coming together. Like I said, we're all from different podcast spaces, but somehow we're all intertwined somehow. You know what I'm saying? It's just that black podcaster space, multiverse type situation going on. But before we head out, we have to shout out another one of our podcasts that we know or we love, a black wrestling podcast that connects with you. So, Brad, I want to know, what podcast are you shouting out this evening?
I gotta go with the guys, Math and Cal.
Okay.
Those guys at BRP, man. I've really seen them grow. I was listening when they were kind of just getting the ball rolling and things of that nature. And I've seen them really grow, and I really love the BRP 50, just because when I was growing up, man, I couldn't name 50 wrestlers, black wrestlers. I couldn't. I didn't know where to find them. I didn't know where to access them. I didn't know how to be proud of them. I didn't know how to be proud of them, and I didn't know how to be like, hey, this guy is good, or hey, this guy does deserve an opportunity. So shout out to them. Of course, man, they be doing their thing, man. They be doing our thing. And of course, All Mark Pod.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. Jabari, man, what black podcast stands out to you, man?
All right, so I'm gonna go in-house for a minute. Shout out to all the podcasts that are actually rocking with us and a whole lot. I'm gonna go first with Jabba Tears always shows us good love.
Definitely.
They're fire.
Right. Smart Psychology. They're pretty good. They always, hop on anytime. They've had me on a couple of times also. The Uncommon Wrestling Podcast, new podcast that started about
I like
5 weeks ago.
Yeah. He's good people.
Yeah, with Elton.
Yeah.
Elton is a really cool person.
Elton's
and
good
I'm
people.
going with the Yes, Elton is good people. And the UWO podcast.
Yeah, he is.
And UWO podcast.
Okay.
So those are my 4.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Brittnee, which podcast stand out to you? What podcast do you want to use this moment to spotlight?
Alrighty, so I do have for myself. First, I want to shout out that's Freaking Wrestling Podcast. I connected with them over during Survivor Series weekend. Dope crew. It's a husband and wife duo, and they have somebody else on. So shout out to That's Freaking Wrestling, and I want to shout out the Midwest Melanin Mafia. That's a crew that I'm a part of. So you have We Love Wrestling. Shout out to Trey D. Down for the Count. Shout out to Nicole. I believe Tiffany is a part of that too, but I'm not 100% sure. But shout out to Down for the Count. And Know the Ropes. So all of us are literally based in the Midwest. You have Ohio, you have St. Louis, and you have Indiana. So that's why they call it that. So shout out to them. So yeah, I feel like especially We Love Wrestling. and shout out to Trey. He just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so he definitely should be in that.
Shout out.
Yeah, so he should definitely be on that list of podcasts to look out. So yeah, those are my 4 I want to shout out.
Salute to my people in the Midwest. I'm from Michigan. So
hey.
Put on. All right.
Shout out to them.
Yes, sir. Starks, man. What podcast do you want to highlight, bro?
I got to shout out my family, man. OE Wrestling Podcast with Sir Fries and my boy Andre. Yeah, man. Dope creative thinking they do over there when it comes to like booking or just in-depth conversations, man. Really great wrestling fans over there. And also my man Dre, he also has his own, which is called the 5-Star Pod Splash. So go check those out, man. Man, so much insightful things, whether you want gaming with GMO Wars, they got a lot of dope things on Twitch that they're doing. Whether it comes to universe mode, like just doing random matches. If you want to just get on to see different type of gaming, he was doing Spider-Man. Like, it's just a lot of dope things that they're doing. But the foundation is always wrestling. You know, you'll catch me on there sometimes. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Always shout out to the family. You already know, man. All Marks Pod.
Definitely. All right, and I want to shout out 3NT Wrestling. That's a new podcast.
Shout out to the boys.
Yeah. Shout out to them. I got put on through listening to Get Your Bars Off Network. Check them out. They're talking that talk. And of course, I got to plug All Marks Pod because 3 of the 4 of us are in the building right now. So we got to put on for All Marks Pod.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
one thing about us as fans, or black wrestling fans, let's go ahead and say it. We're all black wrestling fans. We have the opportunity to uplift other black fans and other black platforms. So no matter how many followers this person has or downloads and all that stuff, we all have that opportunity to uplift each other. So things like us, pretty much a situation like this where all of us are in different podcast space and we get together and we pod and we talk and we get our shit off. This is a huge opportunity for all of us to be able to introduce listeners to other podcasts and other opinions that they may or may not like. So yes. I want to thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to bring y'all on and get your thoughts and pick your brains. Because one thing about conversation, different opinions always make for great conversation. And I really, really do feel as though tonight was a great conversation. I want to show gratitude and thank each and every one of you guys for spending a little time with me and obviously Suplex Dinner Club, the listeners for sure. So shout out to you guys. I really do thank y'all for this.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, for sure.
No, for sure. Thank you. Nice meeting everybody. You know, family. Yeah, man. Nice meeting everybody. Nice intellect. Once again, nice conversation, man.
Sure. All right. Well, listeners, thank you again for checking us out. Again, this is pod season. Expect more of these in the future. Essentially, if you're a comic book fan, think of these as the Marvel team ups where it's just like random characters all together for one purpose or whatnot, for a one-off. So we got a couple more ideas in the future. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity. Thank you again for lending me your ear so you can hear us get our shit off. Shout out to the people as always. Peace and blessings. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.